Today is Friday the 14th of November.
So Ramaji and I were just exploring attitudes to personal transformation and healing. And we're realizing how, for many people, it's likely that there are negative associations with the very idea of healing, therapy, couple therapy, personal transformation, spiritual practice, because of many, many years of conditioning that we have been through. And I likened it to training for an art form or a craft or a trade or a sport, where we would normally have a positive attitude to developing skills and attributes related to that craft or trade or sport. And we'd accept that in the beginning we might feel a bit clumsy and we might not be that good at it, but the more we practiced, the better we would get, and that it would be fun and that it would be fulfilling, and that we'd feel empowered by taking up that activity. Whereas it's quite different with spiritual transformation, healing and therapy, is that we're going into some very deep, dark places in the subconscious and some very sore and tender places in our life experience. So we may well have a undertone running when we even consider healing therapy, spiritual transformation, and those kind of things. We may meet an expectation that there'll be some kind of blame, a feeling of powerlessness, maybe confusion. There may be punishment. There may be inadequacy. We may be, bad and wrong in that place. We may need fixing and not be good enough. We may need to try really, really hard, but we might still not get it right. We may never succeed. There may be despair, hopelessness, resignation, denial. All sorts of undertones that colour our way of relating to healing, spiritual awakening, therapy, or any kind of personally transformative process as being somehow punishing or revealing what is so bad it can never be changed, or something that will cause us suffering and be very, very fraught with pain and struggle. So, of course, in the subconscious, we're not going to really want to do it. There's going to be a part of us that says, well, actually, I don't really want to do therapy or meditate or do couple therapy or do anything personally transformative, because ultimately this is going to hurt. These emotions or these discoveries are going to hurt, and I don't really believe it's going to heal anyway. And the reason for this is that our negative experiences have been cumulative, and they've accumulated for a very, very long time without any resolution. We've not experienced internal resolution of this pain, nor have we experienced resolution in our relationships or our outer lives. We've just hidden this stuff away and tried to put on a mask so that we could cope and hopefully be loved. But we never really loved ourselves, and we never really loved anyone else, and no one else really loved us at this level, at the level of mask, and we kind of know it. And it makes our lives feel hollow and empty, even if they do look like they're chugging along quite okay on the surface, let alone when they begin to fall apart and the facade begins to crumble. So when we feel threatened, even psychologically threatened by the material in our own subconscious, say the material that comes up when we consider doing therapy, meditation, couple therapy, any of those things, at a body level, we defend ourselves using some pretty primal techniques. And there are 3 primal techniques that we have used to keep our bodies safe for millions of years, and they are to fight or attack, And that includes yelling, screaming, throwing things, storming around, trying to make ourselves bigger, or actively hitting or beating other people or other living beings up. They're all about an attack mode. Another way that we've coped with real threats in our environment is to run away. Walk away, run away, get to a safe place. And the third thing that we've done, if neither of those two other methods have worked or been available to us, we freeze and fold. We go into a complete state of lie down and play dead, which actually, has worked sometimes in the wild. Maybe we've been tracked by a bear and the bear's just right there and we just lie down and we play dead and we basically stop breathing. And the bear thinks, oh, this is dead meat, and just walks on, yeah? Sometimes if we're attacking or we're running, we actually have put ourselves at greater danger. And you see it when a cat plays with a mouse. That sometimes the mouse will go into a kind of freeze and fold behaviour, and then the cat will lose interest in it and walk off. Thereby, the life of the mouse is saved if they can do it long enough. So we have these three mechanisms. And sometimes we act them out physically, and sometimes we just act them out in our own imagination or through our breathing, through our body posture and our behaviours towards self, as well as our behaviours towards other people. It depends how safe we feel in acting out a behaviour, or whether we've driven it inwards and it's become an energetic dynamic inside our own energy field. But basically, we're following those three rhythms, or those three ways of responding to stress or to threats. The difficulty is that that biological mechanism never resolves the emotional pain. It might be useful for avoiding physical pain in a primal environment, like running away from the tiger or throwing stones at the other chimpanzees, but it doesn't resolve emotional pain. In fact, it really just buries it deeper and can make it worse. It can create cycles where we are pushing away the very love that we need to heal the pain, both internally and in our relationships. So every time we act out these compensatory defense behaviours, we're moving further and further away from our own core, that is, from the column of light, from the heart, from our soul in the centre of our body, and we're creating disconnected parts of the energy field, walled off, magnetically charged places in the energy field that then have to repeatedly find release through drama, self-created drama. Even if there isn't something going on, we will make sure we create something so that we can release that negative charge that is built up in the field, because we want to resolve it. But then, lo and behold, we go back into the same old primal defense patterns and we just rebuild the pain bigger. And the belief that we can't ever heal the pain gets bigger and bigger. And so in the end, we don't even want to go close to it. So when we are confronted by the prospect of healing and therapy, and you'd have to look at it that way, it is very confronting to consider then opening this Pandora's box. Our subconscious is going to find ways of running away, of attacking, or freezing and folding. Even when in our head we've said yes to the therapy or yes to spiritual awakening. Because we're going to keep on repeating what we have learned and what is deeply ingrained in the field, and we're going to keep moving from that ancient charge of energy, that ancient magnetic that is in the field. And it is very important that at least at a conscious level, we acknowledge that we are driven by these primal impulses, no matter how sophisticated we are as a human being and how intelligent we are, and that we have learned behaviours that look sophisticated, but which are actually primal, and that not all of our being is in agreement with awakening or healing. It doesn't even believe in awakening and healing because it's never succeeded in that place. It either has never tried, has never even known what to do, or has tried and failed, or has been hiding from that for a very long time. So we need to be real about this with ourselves and kind, really kind and authentic, and not have unrealistic expectations that every part of the subconscious and conscious are going to immediately cooperate. But we can choose awareness. We can choose to be self-reflective, self-disciplined, focused and aware to the best of our ability each day, and progressively move deeper into that healing and awakening process as a result of the power of our intention that has come from the most awake part of ourselves. So it's like reparenting ourselves at the most primal level from our most aware dimension of the personality, the most soul-aware parts of our energy field, which are usually the heart and the upper chakras. Very rarely is that in the lower chakras. So we need to become our own best friend, our own inner parent, and not continuously try and find from outside affirmation and love from other people, because they are equally as wounded and equally as much running on automatic, and they cannot be blamed for that either. And it's like trying to draw water from an empty well, to keep going outside ourselves to find a solution to our inner emptiness and our inner pain. We have to take responsibility for that inner pain, acknowledge what is ours and work with that, and also acknowledge what belongs to other people and allow them to work with that. Return that to them very clearly and lovingly, and start to separate out that tangle where we've become enmeshed in each other's wounds, each other's psychosis, each other's neurosis. Because we do not do ourselves or each other any favours by staying tangled in that place. That is not love. So we're going to return to love. And to do that, we have to look at those self-protective behaviours and identify them. And also understand their primal roots. Imagine that you need to return to your own centre, like it's a circle with a dot in the middle. That the solution to your pain is to do something that primarily you would never do, and that is to move towards the pain. Primarily, you would normally attack it, run away from it, or freeze and fold, if it was a real tiger or a real bear. But you can't use that strategy now. What you need is to move towards the pain. That is to move the pain towards your own centre again. To bring your pain to your soul and allow your soul to transform it into consciousness. That consciousness is love. It is a texture of grace and sweetness and peace in the body. It offers you biological, visceral resolution. It's not just some kind of head thing where you become aware of what's going on. It is actually a relaxation and a filling up with grace, a filling up with sweetness and peace in your body, in your central nervous system, in your organs, in your chakras, and in your field. But to do that, you have to go back within. And to support yourself, you can begin to identify your painful associations with healing and awakening, or inner process, and begin to reframe that in a way that you might frame learning a new skill, learning a trade, learning a sport, getting fit, dancing, singing, making things, something that has got an empowering feeling to it, an empowering association, and a feeling of, this is really good for me. This makes my life happier. This is adding to me. This is making me feel good. This is increasing my quality of life and my quality of experience. It's a good thing for me. so that you're no longer seeing spiritual process as a self-punishing, blaming, endless cycle of failure and misery, but a place where you can gain skills, understanding, insight, technique, empowerment, until it becomes enjoyable, until you're on top of the wave with this, not under the wave. And it begins with understanding what your negative associations are, bringing love into those places, and also beginning to affirm and reframe in a positive way your journey of healing and awakening. And then your subconscious starts to cooperate with you. It says, yeah, let's do that. Yeah. If you said to your inner child, do you want to go to the animal park? Yeah, I'd love to do that. Do you want to go to hell? Well, no, I don't really. I'd sooner hide under the furniture. You know? That's what your inner child hears when, do you want to go to therapy? Do you want to go to couple counselling? Do you want to look inside yourself in meditation? It's like, do you want to go to hell? No, I don't really. I'd sooner hide under the furniture. And it has to be more like, hey, do you want to go to the animal park and pet small furry animals? Do you want to go for a ride on your bike? Do you want to go to the beach? Yeah. Because that's really what you're going to be turning your inner hell into an inner heaven. You're going to be turning the pain in your body into love and grace and sweetness. You're going to be turning frustration into peace, disharmony into harmony, loneliness and disconnection into connection and love. Internally, and then from that place, bringing that into your relationships with people, with the tribe, with your partner, with your family, with life, with nature, and ultimately with the whole universe, with the divine nature of the universe. So you're going to increase your sense of belonging and your sense of innate value in your life and in the universe. You couldn't ask better than that. That's the cherry on the top, you know. That's have your cake and eat it too. And that's how we need to present this to our subconscious. And that is really the outcome of this journey. So if we look at the family or the marriage as being the tribe, very primarily, if you were living like 10,000 years ago and there were a lot of saber-toothed tigers around and the safe place was the cave where you had family and tribe, then everything within you would be focused towards belonging in that place, mirroring vibrations, behaviours, feelings in that place to enhance your safety, So if you became like really difficult to be around and your tribe sent you out of the cave, you could get either freeze to death in the snow or get eaten by the saber-toothed tiger. So that was a really frightening place. So we learned to be the same as, to come into the centre of the tribe, to come into the cave so we didn't get eaten by the saber-toothed tiger. It's very biological as well as emotional. You can't really separate the lower astral body from the physical body and its needs, its need for safety. But what if being in the family, being in the cave is really frightening? What if it's abusive? Or what if it's also triggering a whole lot of internal pain that you already contain? So in that place, you want to attack inside the cave with your tribe. You're trying to attack other members of the cave. That doesn't work very well for safety. You're folding and freezing and not interacting. That doesn't really work for safety and connectedness either. Or you want to run away outside the cave, but you run away outside the cave only to get eaten by the saber-toothed tiger. Or you have the feeling that if you go any further outside the cave, you're going to get eaten by the saber-toothed tiger. So you end up running backwards and forwards in and out of the cave, trying to find safety, but you can't feel the safety, either because of your own inner pain or because of the unsafe behaviours of those people in the cave, which is kind of like a mirror of each other, karmically a mirror. So we alternate between inside our family situations, freezing and folding, running away, or attacking and fighting. So we might be yelling, screaming, throwing crockery, bullying, blaming, which is all a form of attack. Or we might be running away. We might be actually saying, I'm going out for a walk, or I'm going away and I'm not telling you when I'm coming back. Or it might be, I'm going to sit in this room, but I'm going to emotionally withdraw and run away. So it's like I'm not here. Or it might be, I'm going to fold and freeze and just go to bed early and not be around. Or I'm going to be around you, but I'm going to be in this really weird energy where I'm kind of frightened and sending out this vibe that I'm frightened, but not actually doing anything about it. Or I'm angry and frightened, because angry and frightened go together, and I'm sending out these weird vibes that I'm angry and I'm frightened, but there's nothing showing on the surface, and that's like really confusing for everyone, and I'm not really engaging, and that's even more confusing for everyone. And then all these wheels of behavior, wheels within wheels start, of people trying to provoke each other into some kind of authenticity, because everyone wants to feel safe. So you get all sorts of provocative or attention-seeking behaviours happening, because there's no authentic relating. Therefore, there is no safety. The cave is not safe anymore. Running away, coming back, and a whole lot of yo-yo activity going on, with a lot of undertones or undercurrents to it. And it gets intolerable. Eventually it becomes intolerable, because nobody is owning how frightened they are. And nobody knows what to do with that fear, how to make it better. So in this, one has to face one's own core first. And just like learning a trade, learning a sport, learning a skill, we have to learn how to work with our own inner world and accept that sometimes in the beginning we feel confused, or we feel clumsy, or we feel lost, or we feel overwhelmed. But as with learning any skill, over time, through repetition and loving investment, real investment, it's about how many miles you put into this, how many hours you put into this, and how much love you put into those miles and into those hours, you eventually get on top of the wave. And you're starting to surf, not drown. And then your inner world is no longer as frightening, because you know how to navigate it. The inner world of your partner and your children is no longer as frightening, because you've learned how to navigate that as well. And then you're getting into a co-creative love space with the people around you, and a co-creative love space inside yourself, between your soul and your energy field, between your soul and your personality. And at that point, you become an evolutionary human being, and you are contributing to the evolution of human beings as a whole and towards the healing of the planet.